All right, so hi everyone. Welcome to Sunstone University. My name is Jennifer and I work for Southern California venture capital firm, Sunstone Management. So here at Sunstone, we are always looking for ways to engage with the local entrepreneurial ecosystem. Today, especially at Sunstone University, we want to welcome the students and grads who have decided to take the next step towards their entrepreneurial journey. Whether you're looking to become an entrepreneur or enhance your knowledge, Sunstone University is here to help. We know that starting your own business can be, to vastly understate it, a big deal. It takes a lot of courage to trust in yourself and your product and just go for it. You might be asking yourself, how do I know if this is the right path for me? When can I finally quit my job and make my side hustle my real hustle? Or even, how do I become the next big thing? So today we have some amazing speakers who are here to guide you and share their insight. They are going to talk to you about a few different aspects about entrepreneurship, what they do, what their companies do. We want this to be a conversation so that at the end, you have a better idea of what you want to do and to be able to say to yourself, yeah, I want to be a CEO. I want to be a founder. Or I want to work on the money side and be a funder, or even I want to be a friend and become a public-private partner for the local innovative ecosystem. So a little bit of background for those of you who don't know, our firm, Sunstone Management, is a diversified private capital firm. We invest in diverse early-stage tech entrepreneurs. Our investment philosophy is focused on the long-term success of both our investors and investments, centered on three key components: founder-focused, market-modern, and sustainability. We've been back to back on major publications like the Financial Times, Inc. 5000, and so on. Not only do we manage venture capital investments, we also like to give back to the community. We deliver exciting economic growth opportunities through innovative P3 partnerships. We also support various pitch competitions in universities across California. For example, the Stella Jiang New Venture Competition at UCI, the Sunstone Innovation Challenge at CSULB, or the CSU Startup Launch across all UCs. Coming up in November, we will be sponsoring the Born in California Pitch Competition across all the UCs. So if you're here now, you're probably going to see us and our investment team again, but in person. So don't be shy. Come say hi. We'll be very happy to meet you. And this event is part information, part networking. There will be an open Q&A at the end. And again, we want this to be educational, but conversational. So feel free to introduce yourselves, put your contact info in the chat box, follow each other on LinkedIn, all that jazz. Having said all that, let's get started. Here with me today is the CEO of Sunstone Management, Jiang Keisler, with some opening remarks. Somewhere. Sorry, technical difficulties. Okay, it looks like there are some technical difficulties because Wi-Fi is so fun for everyone. How about we move on and let me introduce our first speaker of the day. Her name is Jasmine. She is the Director of Investment at Sunstone Management. Jasmine, take it away.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, actually, so when we have those technique kind of issue resolved, I definitely would love like JK to talk to people, talk to our audience. So hi everyone. So this is Jasmine. I'm the Director of Investment Department at Sunstone Management Inc. So it is a pleasure to welcome everyone to our Sunstone University event. So yeah, a little bit background about myself. I joined this company, I think it's 6 years ago in 2015. And currently my daily job is just talk to startups, evaluate business ideas, and make the investments. So during the interviews and the conversations with those startups, I always get this question: what are the Sunstone's criteria when screening and selecting a startup and make a investment? So I guess many venture firms today utilize different scorecards, rating systems to evaluate their potential investments. But today, I want to take this opportunity to talk about our own investment philosophy. So Sunstone's investment philosophy is composed with 3 elements: founder focus, market modern, and sustainability. So those are 3 legs to our philosophical table. Those are very important. So the first leg here is founder focus. We really focus on our portfolio founders, the people, the team. We invest in people. So our goal is trying to build a very good community that is primarily focused on the startup founders and entrepreneurs. So we are looking for high quality teams, people we think to be the right person for the right pursuit and who got the right talent on their team to help them to get successful, to be successful. So when you evaluate a business, an investment opportunity, the team's prior kind of professional experience is going to be one of the primary considerations that we give attention to. Is the founder familiar with the process of starting a business? Do they have experience with any previous kind of startup? Any successful exit? Does the founding team have experience and expertise in a relevant industry like bio, pharma, medtech, machine learning? So what the roles of different people play on this team? Are they part-time? Are they full-time? Do they have access to a very powerful advisory board that can offer advice to them? And those are very important part. And furthermore, maybe most importantly, does the founder have any high communication skills and have the ability to present ideas in a precise and clear way? So those are very important elements when we evaluate a team. So that is our first leg. And our second leg, the second element of our philosophy is market modern. We created this word, market modern. So the founding team should have a very, very clear understanding of what their market is, what are the pain points, and what is the solutions they can provide. The business should be highly and quickly scalable. So if you are a founder or you want to start your business, you have to think about if your solution is a modern solution to an existing problem. You don't want to repeat what someone already have done, right? So does your company already have the potential to grow very quickly over the next 3 years? And in addition to this, one of the things that we look for when assessing a possible investment is whether or not the founder have a very strong networks of connections to investors, to venture capitalists, and also to the whole community and ecosystem. I'm always curiously to know if they already get some people on their cap table, those big names on their cap table, so they are ready to ramp up. So those are very, very important parts, very like the different kinds of rating elements that are really significant to us for take into consideration. So that is the second leg, the market modern solution. Our third leg is sustainability, ecologically, financially, and socially. So we believe that sustainable business is a very good business. So it is very important that the company maintain financially sustainable first. They have to start bringing in early revenues as soon as possible in order to ensure they have enough money to survive for another 18, 24 months. They have to keep their burn rate under control so they can break even in year 3, year 4. In addition to this, the company must have a very, very positive social influence and social impact on the local community, people, and the environment. So, right now, clean technology, clean energy, those are becoming increasingly popular industry today. And we are really, really interested in to participate those investments in this sector. So what right now Sunstone is doing right now is trying to, in the process of trying to build out a more holistic founder-focused ecosystem. we look to combine those public-private educational resources together to build up a public-private educational partnership to help our founders to be more successful. And Long Beach Accelerator, I'm very glad we have Andrea here. So it's a perfect example of we collaborate with City of Long Beach and Cal State Long Beach to develop this program and to support those startups to be more successful. So to recap my talk here, so you need to have a good team, a market modern solution, and to be ecologically, financially, socially sustainable. You have to have those three legs to our table, right? So if your business already have those three things, just, reach out to us. And I think perhaps there is a investment opportunity.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. That was super informative. Real quick, so with your background in investments, are there any specific mistakes or misconceptions that entrepreneurs tend to make when going to a VC firm?
I won't say it's a mistake or misconception, but I think there is something usually co-founders just don't present at the first kind of interview. It's all about traction. When we evaluate business opportunities here, we always look into the tractions, what is the revenues, what is the key achievements they reached so far, and what is the milestones. So if those startups can present their tractions at the very beginning, that will be very impressive to us.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You have to have something in order to present. What advice would you give someone interested in obtaining capital from a venture capital firm?
Actually, I think it's also about traction. So I think startups should pay attention to tractions. You have to get as I mentioned in my talk, you have to get the early revenue to survive, especially right now. You happen to have a very, very high valuation here. So you cannot get any fundings from any people. So you have to pay attention to your traction and you have to justify your valuation at the very beginning.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jasmine, for your insight into the world of venture capital. I want to remind everyone that we will have a Q&A session at the end. So if there's anything else you want to ask Jasmine or our next speaker, you will get your chance very soon. Now, earlier today, I talked about 3 key entrepreneurial groups. We have our founders, our funders, and our friends. So founders create their own companies. They sort of lead the way in innovation. Funders are your investors or venture capitalists. Friends include public-private partners, your economic developers, your leaders of accelerators. Well, I have found for you someone who is all 3, and we're very lucky to have her here with us today. Let's welcome Andrea, Managing Director of the LBA.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. And I'm really glad to be here. This is a great partnership that we've been developing over the past few years. And the Sunstone Long Beach Accelerator partnership will be an important one, hopefully for some of the folks here on this call and beyond. And so just really happy to see everyone here. And so I'm Andrea White-Kjoss, as Jennifer mentioned, Managing Director of the Long Beach Accelerator. We began about 2 years ago, and I was the person that came on board to actually start this thing and execute it. So we've been moving quickly over the last 2 years. We've onboarded 4 cohorts, and we're in the process of selecting our 5th cohort. My background is really in both entrepreneurship. I'm a venture-backed founder myself, both in the mobility and IoT as well as the fintech space. And so when Jasmine talks about being founder focused, we're coming at that from a very deep level. We truly strive to be extremely founder focused ourselves. And that's just sort of in our DNA, given that that's my background as well. I also have a corporate and investment finance background. So pulling all of that together, as Jennifer mentioned, the funder background. And so here at the LBA, what we really try to do is to be a resource in the community for founders who are looking to accelerate their companies to grow and scale more quickly. We really have worked to create a program that will take companies in our 4-month program length, the space of 1 year. What would normally take 1 year, we can condense down into 4 months. And the resources that are available are things like that 4 months of curriculum. We have very hands-on workshops across the gamut of areas that a founder needs to understand and be an expert in to be able to really grow a business as quickly as you need to be a venture-backed startup. And of course, the networks that are involved. And I think I want to mention that the private partnership aspect of this is really important in terms of the networks that our cohort members have access to. It's really vast, and it covers, of course, investors and mentors and things like that, but it also covers the public sector. And so we have a lot of companies whose mission and business model is in some way, shape, or form related to the public sector, whether the public sector is their customer or partner, a strategic partner, that sort of thing. And we really lean into helping the companies develop those strategic partnerships because, as Jasmine mentioned, revenue is so important. It's always been important, but it's extremely important in this environment. And one of the things that we've always done is to try to work with companies to get to revenue as quickly as possible. And the other thing that we do is preparation for investor pitching, and it's a very intensive process through things like modules focused on developing the pitch, to pitch practices, to something we call pitch intensives, where there's really one-on-one feedback directly from the staff in preparation for then what's called demo day, where we bring together our network of investors so that the cohort companies can pitch directly to investors and either begin relationships or close around. Sometimes, the companies come in, they're at different stages, and sometimes they're opening around during the cohort time, or they're opening it after. But regardless, the relationships that they start with the investors here are important. And I want to emphasize that we are really focused on diversity as well. And so we have, from our first 4 cohorts, the number of founders who are female founders are over 60% in our cohorts, and then over 75% underrepresented founders. So that's something that we don't just talk about, but we implement at every stage across our founders and cohorts, but also our friends network. And so I'll just turn it back over. That's a little bit about the LBA. Happy to talk further, but.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. Real quick, so I see that we have our CEO. He will be delivering closing remarks later. So stay tuned for that. Back to Andrea. So for the rest of you who signed in today, if you follow the LBA on LinkedIn, you'll know that Andrea is up to so much cool stuff. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, she actually represented the entire SoCal venture ecosystem in a meeting with the Queen of the Netherlands up at Stanford. So if anyone else wants to be super successful like Andrea when they grow up, I know I do, leave a smiley emoji in the chat box.
I'll just put a blushing emoji in the chat box.
Aw. You want to be yourself, and that's what we should all be, the best version. Now we're going to move on to the next section of Sunstone U, the founder interview. I'm going to ask Andrea a couple questions, help learn more about her insights into entrepreneurship. starting with, first off, thank you again for speaking. I know that you're incredibly busy. The LBA has been featured in a number of media outlets, including .la. How do you feel about being the leader of Southern California's newest go-to accelerator for up-and-coming startups?
Well, I absolutely love what I do. It's not only fun, it's an honor to be in the space that I'm in, to be able to help people achieve their dreams and to move toward, a better society and through business and being able to do that through the methods that we have. And again, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a really, the space is just, I think people are entrepreneurs by nature. I think everybody's an entrepreneur by nature. I think to my sort of philosophy, and to the degree that we are helping people to bring out that inner entrepreneur and to harness the true power that everybody has to build a business that's going to make a difference in how the world operates. It's exciting.
Yeah, and obviously you've seen it all. What do you think makes an entrepreneur successful? Like, how would you define successful entrepreneurship?
As Jasmine said, team is at this very early stage. Team is the very most important thing that we look at. And a couple of things that we can notice right off the bat, it's there's a certain passion about someone that needs to be, greater than skin deep. And you can really start to tell that after a while, because it is such a long and it's a very hard journey being a tech startup entrepreneur. It takes years and years, and so that level of passion is important. There's a level of insight into the problem that customers are facing that the entrepreneur has to have. They have to have unique insights, and that, sometimes comes through having worked in that space for a period of time, but it can also, come from being a person with that pain point, and then supplemented by really diving deep into the space. And so the other piece is, that an entrepreneur comes really prepared, right? We're always very impressed when an entrepreneur comes and they have dotted their I's and crossed their T's. That just shows us that, of the million details that an entrepreneur has to take care of on any given day, that they can sit down and focus on something as important as an accelerator application that can take their business to the next level. So I think those are some of the things that I would talk about with regard to founders and how they can. I guess another way to put it is how you can put your best foot forward.
Yeah, so it really sounds like entrepreneurship, it really boils down to like passion and hard work and understanding that it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. So you got to put in that time and you got to put in all those elements to make it work. You mentioned applying earlier. So do you have any tips for an entrepreneur who wants to apply to an accelerator, maybe the LBA, sometime down the road?
Definitely, yeah. And there are different types and stages. I think that the important thing is, so for some of the folks on this call, you may want to go through an incubator of some sort. And that is really a place where you can go to flesh out your idea and to maybe even begin to build a prototype or an MVP. An accelerator will want to take companies that are beyond MVP prototype stage. And it depends on the accelerator exactly what that stage is and where they feel comfortable, where their thesis is. For us at the LBA, we take companies here who are about at least ready to beta test, which means that you're ready, you have a product that is ready to go to a small group of testers to be able to get that critical first feedback before you roll out the full product. And that's sort of a minimum for us. About 50% of the companies that come into the accelerator are actually in revenue. And so I would say between those stages, between beta and early revenue, that's the sweet spot for the Long Beach Accelerator. And then the other thing that I would mention is that different accelerators focus on different sectors as well. We happen to be sector agnostic, although over time we will be leaning into certain sectors that are particularly important for the Long Beach economy in the future. And we've been able to help companies across many, many different sectors, again, in partnership with Sunstone. But some accelerators will focus really specifically on one or two sectors, three sectors often. And so to be aware of that. And when you're doing your research, and this is sort of also actually fundraising 101. So this applies to when you go to fundraise from investors in the future, is to really find out beforehand what their areas of investment are, because you don't want to waste your time and you don't want to waste their time. So narrow it down, and it helps to show you've done your research as well. So.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's really important. Definitely, you can't just be applying like all over the place and not having some sort of narrow target. Do you see any trends of the accelerator model? I know that the LBA in particular is like a public-private partnership, and there are definitely certain benefits to that. But are there any other things that are up and coming in the world of accelerators that entrepreneurs should know about?
Yeah, I think a couple of things that we've seen is, and we obviously really believe in, because over the last 2 years we have seen the results of the benefits of a public-private partnership model in accelerators. And beyond that, in addition to that, there are a couple of trends, one of which is the increasing number of big early stage investment firms that are developing either accelerators or studios within the firms, and so are recognizing the value of the type of resources that we bring to the table for startup companies. Again, the knowledge base, the networks, the being able to connect people, being able to provide guidance on an ongoing basis instead of just kind of the set it and forget it mentality of investing, which works fine for like stock market investing, but for early stage companies, there can be so much more accomplished if there's a level of initial and ongoing assistance and guidance. So that's what I've seen, and I think that it's a good trend.
Okay. And to close out the founder interview, we like to, if you guys haven't attended one of these before, we like to ask all of our entrepreneurs what recommended reading or listening that you want to recommend to the Sunstone community?
And you guys prepped me for this, and I'm going to admit right up front that I'm an imperfect person, that I did not actually prep this one. And I think that from an overall standpoint that, some people learn well by reading, some people learn well by experience, some people learn well through community. And, what works for one may not work for another. I think it's just really important for a founder to find those ways to increase their understanding of what they're trying to do overall. But it's also extremely important for a founder to find ways to both take care of themselves as well as keep motivated. And so that's whatever those ways are that work for you, make that a part of your regular weekly thing. Make that a good habit.
Okay. So be you, be the best you that you can possibly be, live your life, right? All right. Well, thank you so much. Next section. So now we're going to have a community discussion / Q&A. If you had any questions, go ahead and drop us a question in the Q&A chat box. You can direct these to Jasmine or to Andrea. Just let me know. So, I see one here already. Looks like this is directed to Andrea. How different is the LBA today than when you first started?
Yeah, good question. When you first start something, it's always it's just your idea, and hopefully you have some good advisors and other folks around you to help you build and give you feedback and that sort of thing. And we definitely did. I would say that the initial structure of the programming and how we think about things is standing the test of time. I'm really pleased with that. And we survey the heck out of our cohorts and anybody else who will take a survey. And so, what we've done is we apply that in sort of a market testing way. We apply that, we iterate, we improve. If there are certain instructors that are not really hitting the mark, we work with them to provide more of what our cohort members need. We have, let's see here, the LBA was conceived as an in-person accelerator pre-COVID. And then we were launched, and we launched during COVID. So we became a virtual online accelerator. And that has actually been such an enormous benefit from the standpoint of our customers, our founders, in that they have access to a lot of different resources than would otherwise have been available as an entirely in-person accelerator. And having said that, one big change is that we have been able to bring back some in-person programming where it really makes sense, where it's really impactful, such as the third week of the program of each cohort. We bring them in person to bond with each other, to network with our ecosystem, and to just be able to have that face-to-face time. And that's really impactful and very fun for people. And then the final week of the program, we also bring our cohorts in for a demo day. And so we have one live in-person demo day, and then we have one virtual demo day. But around that sort of set of programming, we again have more events and different opportunities for people to mix and mingle, and more bonding for our cohort members. Some fun activities like kayaking and paddleboarding is our next one. And that enables our cohort members to start to create a really strong bond with each other, because your cohort in any program like this is your tribe. And the amount of learning that they can get from each other and the support that they can give to one another is imperative in this process. And then it also starts to form the larger bonds between the cohorts and alumni, and starts to create an ongoing community like that. And I'm getting a little bit off topic, but that's a couple of the areas where we've been able to augment what we started with.
Yeah, no, that was a good question. Okay, I see we have a question from Kendrick from Novale. Oh, for those of you who don't know, Novale was the grand prize winning startup at the Stella Jiang New Venture Competition at UCI. It's an annual pitch competition, and Kendrick's one of the co-founders. So he wants to know, from your perspective as a founder and a director, what red flags do you see in teams going through the accelerator that tell you they won't be successful?
Yeah, such a great question. I bet we all wish we could have a crystal ball, right, Jasmine? So the time frame that we've been running the accelerators is relatively short in terms of the overall time needed to fully grow a business. But and I would say that in one way or another, we have done a pretty good job of selecting our candidates, and we're really, really pleased with the vast majority of them and how they're moving forward. I would say that there are things that could be red flags, but if they're addressed correctly, they can be turned around. And we've seen that in some pretty major ways in our experience with the LBA. If the founder is really dedicated to pushing through and making the changes, doing the pivots that are necessary to any startup, and I'm talking about anything from co-founder issues to not finding product market fit right away, to just being so busy that it's hard to find time to attend and take advantage of the program. We have definitely seen that the vast majority of the time when we work with the companies to sort of mitigate or turn those things around, that there's that spirit of willingness and that fight and that passion and that drive to do it. And some really interesting situations can be turned around.
Okay. All right. So I do see some questions in our Q&A box as well. Michael wants to know, what is the main pillar for a successful project? What do you look for while evaluating? I guess this question could be directed towards either of you.
I've been talking a lot. Go ahead, Jasmine.
Okay. So I think, actually, when you evaluate a business investment, I think most of VC firms, they have their own set of questions they want to ask during the interview. But I think the most important part, as I mentioned, is the team. It's the team that if the team get the right person in the relevant industry, if the team has the capability to bring this company to another level. So I think team plays very, very big factors when we do this kind of evaluation. Andrea, I give it to you.
So we have 8 pillars, and it's really hard to talk through it in like a sort of concise way for this audience. We have 8 pillars, and they relate to team and traction and market and all of that stuff. And then we overlay what our kind of philosophy and top priorities are. We overlay the diversity piece, and we built that into a process so that we can ensure that we're working with underrepresented founders. And we also, sort of our final look through on the process is beyond the investment, because the investment is important for the working capital to enable the founders to focus on the company full time. That upfront investment will only go so far, and so beyond that, what else? How much value do we think that the Long Beach Accelerator and our resources and our networks can help a particular company? That's a really, really important final determinant of companies that we accept to the accelerator versus those who we might turn down, because companies can be turned down for a variety of reasons. We don't maybe think they're ready yet, or we just don't see we don't yet see the potential. Maybe again, it's too early, or maybe, there's problems filling out the application or whatever. But at the end of the day, we want to be able to move the needle for that particular company. And so that's our final overlay.
Mm-hmm.
I see another question here. How can student entrepreneurs connect with LBA and Sunstone portfolio companies to learn about internship, mentorship, and job opportunities? Sorry guys, my light sensor keeps going on and off, so I'm just in the dark sometimes. But either of you.
Oh yeah, actually, so if you want to be join this community, like Sunstone ecosystem, I think you definitely, the go-to person should be Jennifer here. So Jennifer is our PR manager. She's also leading the Sunstone University project. And so if you want to reach out better to this community, and also talk to Jennifer. So that's my advice here.
Yeah, and for us, the best thing to do is to, on the LBA side, is to sign up on our website to keep in contact, because we have events that are both in person and virtual and open to the greater community, and also to follow us on social. And I'm not just saying that to put it out there, but in direct answer to your question, that's how you learn about where you can kind of get involved with us. And the other piece is that on our website, we have a portfolio page. And so there are descriptions and links to each of our companies, and you can peruse their websites and their social for opportunities with them. And I think there was a related question of, are there any internship opportunities available with the LBA and Sunstone? Maybe is that another question here? And yes, speaking for the LBA, there are internship opportunities available, and the best way to reach out about those is to just go to my LinkedIn, and I can shoot you more information about that. Just send me a note and connect.
And there is also internship opportunities at Sunstone. So if you are interested to apply for an internship position at Sunstone, you can contact hr@sunstoneinvestment.com. I'll put it here in the chat section, so everybody have the email address there.
Yeah, and you guys feel free to interact in the chat box. If you want to drop your email or your LinkedIn, go ahead and do so. We want to be a resource for you guys. Okay. Oh, I see one in the chat. A different Michael wants to know, conflict resolution is very important for founders, and they need to discuss this upfront before they form their company. If there are multiple founders, how are conflicts, such as a change in product, strategy decided?
Sounds like somebody's having a particular issue or question right now, if I'm reading between the lines. So first of all, as co-founders, you should have agreements in place as soon as possible, and what your share of the company looks like, and it can also go into discussion within either that document or another document of how you resolve issues. You never really want to come down to, hey, I own 51%, you own 49%, so I'm going to overrule you. The hope is that you've divided your roles and responsibilities up very clearly, and that the person who is responsible for the arena that you're talking about has the final say, and that everybody respects that. Those are a couple of things that I would say.
Okay. Well, it looks like it is close to wrapping up. I hope that Jasmine and Andrea were able to answer your guys' questions. Again, feel free to reach out to them as a resource for all things VC, Accelerator, what have you. So like we mentioned earlier, let's do, oh, yes, you can also reach out to me. My email is there. Let's head on to closing remarks from our CEO, Jiang Keisler.
Thank you, Jennifer, Jasmine, Andrea. Super, super grateful for everything that you're doing to help build this new founder community among our university participants. And I get to ask the question, why does Sunstone Management invest so much of time and resources in supporting our universities? And so I just wanted to close by giving you a little bit of background. We look at the university community here in the state of California in particular, but universities across America as being really the source of talent for the future founders of Sunstone. And what I mean by that is there's over 50 companies now, early stage startups that are in our investment portfolio. And we'd like to grow that portfolio over the next 5 years to 350. And that's a big number. And what it requires is really developing relationships with partners like the Long Beach Accelerator, partners like Thai SoCal, angel investors and mentors and coaches, but really developing relationships with the universities across the state of California. There's 23 CSUs with over 500,000 students, and there's 10 UCs that have over 250,000 students. So every single year we have 750,000 talented, knowledgeable students who will potentially become the future founders of our economy, of the California economy, but also the world economy. So Sunstone, we believe in the future founders of Sunstone. We believe that we need to start our relationship with you now, and over the next 3, 5, 7 years, we want to be part of your journey. We want to understand what your needs are. We talk about access to capital and technical assistance. But what do you need in terms of mentoring, coaching, support, and supporting one another? And so the Sunstone community is all about the future founders of Sunstone and what we can do together over the next few years to make sure that you're ready to someday apply and get admitted into Andrea's program at the Long Beach Accelerator, and hopefully have that meeting with Jasmine and the investment team to someday get your first equity investment from the Sunstone community of investors. So as Jennifer said, our funders need to know our founders, and we need to connect you all with our friends so that someday you can be not just the future founders of Sunstone, but the founders of Sunstone. So thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Andrea. And thank you, everybody in the university community who joined today and who is joining our new university community page on our LinkedIn Sunstone website. So we have lots coming, and hopefully you'll help us shape that in the coming days, weeks, and years ahead. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, and some general housekeeping. If you check out the chat box, we have the links to Sunstone University, Sunstone Management, Long Beach Accelerator. You can go ahead and follow, and you'll stay updated about upcoming events. Also, your feedback is super valuable. Hopefully, after today, you have a better idea on whether you want to be a founder, a funder, a friend, or a combination of all three. Go ahead, send me an email with your feedback. I want to know whether you're a founder, funder, or a friend. Who do you want to hear at the next Sunstone University? What do you want to learn about? Are there specific job opportunities that you're looking for? I don't know, maybe you want the next event to be Halloween themed because our event falls on October 27th. Let me know. And thank you so much for attending Sunstone University. The first 5 responses with feedback I see in my inbox, they will get, let's say, a Sunstone, an Amazon gift card, and some other goodies. And as always, be a Sunstone.
Yes, be a Sunstone. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.